Jurors heard testimony from a key prosecution witness in Sean Diddy Combs' federal trial in New York City Tuesday. His ex-girlfriend and singer Cassie Ventura spoke about her 10-year relationship with Combs and the psychological, physical, and sexual abuse she says she endured. Ventura first leveled accusations against Combs in a 2023 lawsuit, which was settled a day later. Dozens of men and women have filed suits against him since 2023. Combs has pleaded not guilty to charges including racketeering and sex trafficking. If convicted, he faces up to life in prison. CBS News national correspondent Jericka Duncan is outside the courthouse, and we do want to warn you, some of the details in this report may be disturbing.
Yeah, that's right. Cassandra Ventura, also known as Cassie, walked in with her head held high and did not make eye contact with Sean Combs. But she did describe a relationship that lasted over 10 years with Combs in which she says he was the one in control. She said that Combs introduced her to this idea of freak-offs, where she claims that Combs would hire an escort and watch her have sex with that male escort while he masturbated. Again, this coming from Cassandra Ventura. She said over time, she was able to book some of those escorts, the freak-offs, as she stated, but she said Combs was the one that was orchestrating every detail, directing her in terms of what to wear, supplying her with drugs, and even told Ventura and the escort exactly what to do. She said that she enjoyed time with Combs when the prosecutors asked her if she enjoyed freak-offs. This, for her, she says, was about one-on-one time with Combs because he was always surrounded by people. Prosecutors identified 6 escorts, showing pictures to jurors and explaining how travel was booked for them to different cities that included New York, Los Angeles, Vegas, Atlanta, even Turks and Caicos for the purposes of having freak-offs. At times I watched as Combs shook his head sort of in defiance when Ventura was testifying. The defense has not questioned her yet, and prosecutors say that Ventura will take the stand again tomorrow.
Jericka Duncan, thank you. For more, let's bring in CBS News legal reporter and attorney Katrina Kaufman, who is also inside the courtroom. Ventura is speaking in excruciatingly graphic detail about these freak-offs. Katrina also testified that Combs would knock her over, kick her, drag her, stomp her in the head. What stood out to you about her testimony?
Lindsay, what's striking about what you just mentioned is today we started to get a window into Cassie's side of the story. There's a video that people may have seen. It was aired by CNN years ago. It's become a video at the heart of this case. That's security footage from the Intercontinental Hotel in 2016, where there appears to be Sean Combs assaulting Cassie Ventura. You see him hitting her, dragging her. Today, towards the end of the day, they played that video in court, and Cassie Ventura sat there rubbing her pregnant belly as she watched and talking about her experience in that video. How she had a big movie premiere that was coming up, and what had happened was they were engaged in a freak-off that she didn't really want to be a part of, and Combs had punched her. She knew she had a black eye. She felt she had to get out of there, so she waited for a moment when he was occupied. She said he may have been on the phone, in the shower, and she ran. He then came after her, dragged her, knocked her down, and she told us, Lindsay, that that was something that happened too many times for her to count, that she just knew she had to get out of that situation. So we're really starting to get more of Cassie's side of this story. And a very striking moment in court, too, was that she broke down crying earlier during her testimony. Jericka talked about how she talked about doing these freak-offs because she wanted one-on-one time with Sean Combs. And this is when she really teared up. She talked about how sometimes she didn't know what side of Combs she was going to get. He would turn angry or violent with her, but she loved him, and this was a way for them to spend time together, even though she expressed to us that it was humiliating for her and something that she was mortified for anyone to ever find out about. So one can only imagine what it must be like for her to testify about it in court, her husband and her brother sitting there as well.
Yeah, we should mention that in their opening statement yesterday, Combs' attorneys are saying jurors are going to hear things that they may think might be unsavory details about his sex life and preferences, or that he was a jerk, or even guilty of domestic violence. But he said that's not what he's being tried for in terms of the racketeering and sex trafficking. Let's talk about the second witness who first took the stand Monday, came back to the stand today. What more can you tell us?
So we heard more from him. He engaged in these sexual encounters with Cassie Ventura and Sean Combs on a number of occasions. Lindsay, he also testified about some violence that he saw, a time when he saw a liquor bottle thrown at Cassie Ventura, another time when he heard screaming in another room. It sounded like she was being hit. So he was there for some of these occurrences. But the prosecution really had a strong ending with his testimony, too, because the defense, during their cross-examination, brought out a text message that he had sent to Cassie where he said, "I love y'all," referring to her and Combs. And the defense was clearly trying to show that they had a good relationship. When the prosecution asked if they could just ask him one more question about that, they asked why he'd sent that message. And he said that he had been trying to reach Cassie. He was worried about her, and he sent it because he thought it was a way that he could get her to respond. So he ultimately seemed to be a very strong witness on the stand for the prosecution. The defense honestly seemed to be fumbling a bit when they cross-examined him.
All right, Katrina Kaufman, thank you.